for my Stan. Big tennis for the Devils
I'm
tonight.
sorry.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Matt Loughlin, along with the Maven, Stan Fischler. This is another edition, the modern edition of Matt and the Maven. I said hi, everybody, because normally if you do something for the New Jersey Devils, it's hey, Devils fans. But Stan, you've been able to touch so many people. It's hi, everybody. I know that we've got a big audience for this. Good to see you. How you been?
I've been feeling terrific. And I owe it all to hockey. Hockey keeps me going. I do a piece right now. 40 years I write every week about that. And I just still love the game. I love everybody about the game. And frankly, I don't think I could be here without hockey.
Well,
I'll
tell you this: if it wasn't for hockey, we wouldn't have you here. There'd be no Maven. So why would we be here in the studio if it wasn't for hockey?
I told you many times, don't be funnier than me, man. I'm sorry.
Very hard to top the Maven. But I do want to talk about the fact that you stay modern. I mean, you began your career when you had to call in your stories, right?
Now we use stones.
Now,
I
have these stones. 3 tablets, these 2 tablets. Anyway, it's a Mel Brooks routine. But now you're on Twitter too. So I mean, you've been able to stay current, whatever current was at the time.
Well, Twitter is a bit scary because you got a lot of people out there who don't necessarily agree. But the point is, if you're going
to, you should be used to that.
Yeah, that's true. The point is, with the computer, you can do miraculous things. And I'll tell you one of the things that was miraculous. Fernie Flaman used to be a scout and one of the all-time greats, tough defenseman. I had to do a story about him. And he was from a town in Saskatchewan that I remember distinctly when he was a player, because you could memorize anything when it was 6 teams. And he came from a town called Dysart, Saskatchewan. And I want to find out what it's like there. Just for the hell of it, I typed in Dysart, and what do I get? I get a whole McGill about this guy. So when we're in an age now where you can find things like that on the computer, you can do anything. And I'm hip to a computer. The only thing I did wrong with a computer a long time ago is at a playoff game, and I thought it might enhance the computer's memory if I gave it a little coffee.
It did not work.
No.
By the way, quick Fernie Flaman story. I'm interviewing now. Doc Emmerich, the great Hall of Fame broadcaster, he didn't mind if you cut into play a little bit, and Chico Resch and all his partners could tell you. But at a certain point, that was Doc's territory. Well, Doc always made sure that I could get some interviews in, but had to get it back to the guy to do play-by-play. That's the greatest ever there. So I'm interviewing Fernie in Boston, and he's going on and on about playing in the NHL during World War II, when the vets went overseas and younger players came up, and he just talks over a goal. I thought, I'm dead. He's like, yeah, and so then, of course, I was playing for Boston in 1943, and he's telling some stories. Oh, there's a goal. And so the Devils take a 1-0 lead, and he keeps going, and in the back of my mind, I think, oh, I'm dead. Doc loved it, though, because Doc loved hockey history, and he just loved the way Fernie just kind of kept going. Anyway, 3 cups for this organization. Quick memories from all 3.
Well, the first one was so vivid because this was like a joke. We had the nerve to play the Detroit Red Wings. Scotty Bum, what are you kidding? And I'll never forget this. We went into Detroit, and the day before the game, the NHL arranged so that the media could talk to both teams. So they had all these big shot Red Wings on the dais with Scotty and, Eisman, a whole bunch of them, right? And they got done, and they had tables with the players, and they all talked to the players. Now it's the Devils' turn. These guys walked out. I mean, like they disdained. What the heck's the point talking to the Devils? And of course, winning those 2 games wasn't enough for me. Wasn't a convincing for me. And then, after it was the 3rd game, I thought we had a chance after that. But to me, one of the greatest upsets in history. And even the 4th game. If I'm not mistaken, they scored the first goal. If I'm not mistaken, it was Coffey. I'm not positive, but it doesn't matter. They scored the first. I began to worry a little bit. We got to win this hockey game. And to me, the most exciting aspect of that game was not so much Sergei Brelin's goal, but my guy, Sean Chambers. I love Sean Chambers. He was the fastest dresser post-game in the history of hockey, and there was something about that goal. That Chambers goal is one of the greatest goals that I ever saw in terms of the thrill, and of course, winning the cup. And still hard to believe.
Cup came to New
4
Jersey.
straight? I mean, are you kidding me?
A complete
Unbelievable.
whitewash.
And of course, Marty, I flew with Marty after the game when we went to Washington to meet the president, and Doc Mack flew us back. A few of the guys were there. I remember Marty was munching on an apple and says, "What do you think?" And he says, "You know, they're giving me a lot of credit, but the credit was to every." And, you know, he wasn't on camera or anything. He was just saying, "These guys made me a cup winner." And
eventually, he became a 3-time Cup winner. So 2000, 2003. One was won on the road, Dallas, and the other was won Game 7 here against
Dallas. Was very scary, very scary. They won that overtime game, and I remember a whole bunch of MSG guys were there in our watching the game, and I was very depressed, very depressed. I get depressed when you don't laugh at my jokes, but I was even more depressed about this. I thought we were going to lose the series, and of course, going into Dallas. And watching, we had to watch the game on monitors. And all these Stars people, the Dallas Stars people and the writers were around. And, again, they didn't think we deserved to be there. And the way that blind pass by Elias, I mean, and on not putting it in the way he did. I never liked Belfour as a person. I liked him. He was a good goalie, but I was so happy Anna beat that guy, and well, you and I were there, and it was a tremendous victory. But to win it at home as we did with the third one. Now, and the third one was also very scary. Who the heck wants to go to a Game 7, right? And I wasn't too happy.
Across the country
I wasn't too happy with Marty on that cockamamie Paul Correa goal. I was very happy.
You can laugh about it now.
Yeah, laugh about it now. But the way Stevens flattened this guy Correa, what the heck was he doing coming back? He was supposed to be dead after that, right? And came back, and then to take it to Game 7, it was scary because we had to go down before the game was over. And it was at the old arena, right?
Yeah, we're up in the Halo,
and when you took the elevator down, it was like going from New York to somewhere in the Cocos Islands. That was the slowest elevator I ever rode on in my entire life. And I'm there with Larry Gaines, and the game isn't over. And I thought by the end of the game, we might even be going into overtime. Who knew? When we came out of the elevator, we wound up winning the game at home. At home.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Stanley Cup memories. By the way, I'm going to have to Google, what was the name of that island? The elevator?
Cocos Island, COCOs. You can't go there by Staten Island Ferry.
All right, no. Stan, always a pleasure. I am going to Google Cocos Island. Never heard of it before. I'll learn something new. I always do when I spend time with you. Thanks very much for sharing your memories.